Today I got the most pointless, outrageous impulse buy. It's something that I never use, that I do not regret at all, because it perfectly illustrates the point I was making yesterday about really cheap guitars from Korea that are really nice, and how you can't get Korean-made guitars in this price point anymore, because I got this 10 years ago now, 11 or 12 years ago, for 250 euro bucks. And I was new in Hamburg. I walked into the dearly departed Just Music Anfängerladen for the first time, and I saw this 200 bucks, and I couldn't not get it, because I didn't see anything cheap and crappy about it. Like, an Epiphone Firebird made in Korea. The finish, I really like this, cherry wine finish. I don't know, some kind of stain on plain wood. If it's real mahogany, that's debatable, because, Gibson and all of their scandals. Oh, yeah, they chopped on one piece of wood here. That's kind of a sign of crappiness, because they didn't make it from one piece, but whatever. It's pretty funny. I always wanted to have actually a Thunderbird or a Firebird. This reverse body is really cool. And when I was, an impressionable young man, I saw Chris Novoselic with his Thunderbird bass, and I've never seen anything like this shape before. It's really just the shape that you want. I mean, having it be a real Gibson with vintage value is not really the point. You just want to look cool with this reverse thing, and it's kind of like too long. That makes it kind of cool too, except you need a bag for a bass gig bag, because it won't fit in a normal one for guitars, but whatever. And you're holding it way out to here, because the strap button, it's not very practical, the whole thing. But the neck dive, it doesn't have the neck dive that the Thunderbird is famous for, but it's just really funny that you could get something like this for 250 bucks back then. I bet they still have relatively nice stuff, but I think made in Korea was considered low end back then, and now it's actually made in Korea is actually a selling point, because it's like it's not China, and the point is that Korean factories seem to really care about having the frets done nicely. They're actually polished and not sharp and not uneven and all kinds of stuff like I'm used to from low price guitars from the kingdom of the M.I.K. They always need some kind of fretwork to be done. They're not really finished out of the factory, and Koreans don't let that happen. And okay, I'm not making an ethnic argument here, but it has something to do with quality control standards. Anyway, this is a perfect opportunity to extol the virtues of Korean production and make fun of Gibson at the same time, or if you prefer in the German, Gibson. This has got the typical, it's got all of the features of a real Gibson, especially the headstock breakage, where a relatively small box fell on this guitar when it was laying flat, and that snapped the headstock right here. And but I took it to my friends at Number One Guitar Center in Altona, and the guy took one look of it. He said, like, hey, that breakage, lines up perfectly. He's like, 1 hour of work or less. He ended up billing me €45 bucks. I was happy, and now, it's not cosmetically finished, this breakage, but it's probably not going to break again so easy. But anyway, that is the mark of a true Gibson. Mahogany neck, shorter grain length, and it's not as robust as maple. But that's where you get the sound, the mahogany sound, the fat, smooth tones of mahogany, which has always been like Gibson's main selling point. Like, Fenders are cheap because they don't use mahogany, and we got the fat sound because all our guitars are made of mahogany. And this Epiphone El Cheapo from Korea, is this mahogany? Probably a real carpenter could identify that. I'm kind of skeptical because when I was a kid, I bought a piece of mahogany to make a guitar, and it was, about this big. It was enough for a neck and a body, and it cost $90 back in 1995. And this cost €250 bucks in 2010 or 11. So make of that what you will. Gibson and Epiphone certainly are known for shenanigans when it comes to where they get their wood from, and there's some kind of environmental treaties about protecting mahogany. I don't know. So I believe the Firebird was originally the non-reverse Firebird, where supposedly Gibson was trying to do something like a Jazzmaster. Ended up so fugly that the guy decided to flip the jig, and it looked way cooler like this. And that classic look where you got one big thing going up here, and one big thing going out down here. Of course, the strap button is perfectly ergonomically mounted to the side with no horn, which is, something that Fender figured out in 1951. Having a horn out here makes it always balance good. But anyway, this thing balances fine, but it's an issue on the bass, on the Thunderbird, whatever. That's what's Gibson is famous for. Your guitar's hitting the floor and the headstock breaking off. Funny feature is they did decide to put the original style of kind of crazy tuning machines on this, where it's kind of interesting. It's a major pain in the ass. It's a reason why I haven't played this since I broke a string in 2016, and I have hardly any use for a normal baby guitar anyway, because I play baritone. And anyway, today I finally restrung it. It was a pain in the ass to restring because these are actually locking tuners where, you pull this until You wrench on this until the tuning's head on top comes all the way out. Then you put the string in under, I don't know, you gotta, it's a primitive locking mechanism that's actually kind of cool. It just makes it more of a pain in the ass to restring. But it's a nice touch that they put on these original tuners, might be a bitch to replace them if you ever break one, but they don't look like they would break very easy. So, it's another nice touch for 250 euro bucks, don't you think? I would never buy a real Gibson. I mean, God, maybe 30 years ago, if you get one for like only 1,000 and sell it today for like 2,700 or some shit that the crazy collectors are paying now. Anyway, brings us to topic number 2, which is just laughing at Gibson, and especially, their spurious claims of how mahogany makes a difference, and how, the Gibson Les Paul with the maple cap, the flame maple cap, that's their secret, and the 24 degree or 17 degree, 18, I don't know, whatever, their headstock angle, it makes them break because they're made of short-grained, soft mahogany wood, which doesn't stand up quite like maple. Anyway, this is all supposed to make a difference. The Tonewood Wars, where Scott Grove and Will Gelvin and Duncan from the United Kingdom were all getting into debates on, using physics to demonstrate how the wood doesn't make a difference. And I don't know, I'm just going to laugh about it because I myself have, a whole bunch of guitars where I just flipped the pickups, put in P90s, took the humbuckers out, put in P90s, and it just, it always sounded like P90s, no matter what kind of guitar it was. Hollow body guitars, semi-hollow, made of mahogany. Yeah, I put in P90s here too, and some cheap ones. The stock humbuckers, they weren't bad, but it's a stock humbucker, muddy, fuzzy sound, that mid-rangey sound that I kind of don't like, and it's definitely not good for clean, Anyway, it's not good for plugging straight into a Fender Twin Reverb with no effects and no Marshall JCM to give you the fat sound that's probably more associated with Gibson than anything that they actually made. The standard thing, classic rock thing, having a Gibson Les Paul, run it into a Marshall, and that's the Gibson sound, and whatever humbuckers they use, whatever. But, fat classic rock sound is kind of fun for this song. Sister Havana. I love Urge Overkill. I wish they hadn't fizzled out so quickly, because they made some fun songs with the classic rock sound that Gibson is so famous for. But I bet they used Fenders anyway. Whatever. Right, if you got a Gibson and how much you like it and what kind of Gibsons you have, if you have a vintage Gibson or an Epiphone knockoff like I do, or a knockoff made by anybody else, like my buddy, I wouldn't really call it a knockoff because he got his own designs, but my buddy Alex Gajania from Chicago has his own company where they make Gibson-inspired things. Like he's got a model that's kind of like the RD, which is one of the few other ones I like by Gibson. It's called the Gajania Royale, and it can be had for affordable prices. So check out Alex Gajania on Facebook. Anyway, there's also like Explorer type things. I don't know, the Explorer. What do you think of the Explorer? To me, it's kind of funny for ironic purposes how they took this reverse thing and made it sharp. But anyway, let's go through the Gibsons. The Les Paul, I just think it's the most uncomfortable guitar. The neck angle, I don't like it, and the body does. It's kind of like a boat anchor around your neck, and it's got sharp edges, and it's not ergonomic. And SGs. I've seen one I liked. It was a nice and thin one. It was the same kind of finish like this. Just, plain mahogany, varnished or stained or something, clear coated. And it was kind of plain looking and thin, and it actually had a good feel. But other than that, SG is not my preferred type of body style, and especially not the SG bass. I don't know. It's kind of cool to have a vintage piece, but that is not the kind of bass I would want to have. And I can't believe it was Mike Watt's go-to bass for all these years, and he's this big, huge guy playing on a 30-inch scale bass, but whatever. The Gibsons that are really cool are usually basses, like the aforementioned Thunderbird and the Chris Novoselic RD artist, where he looks all cool and stuff, having it slung down here. The black RD bass looks completely awesome, and of course the Ripper. Everybody loves the Gibson Ripper, and those are the only Gibsons I would actually be interested in playing full price for. But I wouldn't go much above $1,000 even for a real one, so it's just pointless. You just want the cool body shape, and some of the Norlin years of Gibson, they made the most interesting products. And another one, the Corvus. I would totally take one of those for ironic value, because it's one of the most useless body shapes where it comes out here. But the 3 pickup Corvus, I would totally take that, except I just looked it up on eBay Canada, and it was 2,600 Canadian dollars. I don't know. What would you pay for a Corvus? Anyway, right, what are your favorite Gibsons? I tend to prefer the crazy ones, like the Marauder. That's kind of interesting. I don't really want to have one, but anyway, making fun of Gibson, their whole marketing lines have always been based on lies. Their marketing lines based on lies, like extolling the virtues of Tonewood and pretending like the neck angle matters, and a lot of stuff that people are gonna flame me in the comments for, because the whole thing was like a lot of Gibsons were made out of alder. And Gibson was saying, no, alder, it's not very good tone wood. We got the mahogany. And then you find out mahogany is actually a soft, short-grained wood, which is certainly more susceptible to getting dinged and donged. And, it's going to break at the headstock, too. So, yeah, have fun with your mahogany. But I would pay €250 for one made in Korea. So write your thoughts about Gibsons, and do you have an Epiphone? Is your Epiphone, what year is it from? Do you have another made in Korea from 12 years ago like this one, or do you have a more recent one? Because at guitar stores, I've seen they have multiple grades of shittiness with Epiphone. Like this one is a glue-on. I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be a neck-through, I know. This is a glue-on set neck thing. I've also seen bolt-on Epiphones of, models that are clearly supposed to be, there we go. The models that are clearly supposed to be set necks, but, they make a knockoff of the bolt-on neck. Do you even think that matters? The fabled sustain of the neck-through, and how, set neck is supposed to be a little more sustaining, and then the bolt-on is supposed to be the shittiest. That's another marketing lie where Gibson was just trying to slam on Fender, but whatever. Yes, I know I need to adjust it a little. I just put on new strings, which I haven't done in since 2016, but I think I'm going to play this actually. Anyway, your experiences changing out pickups. Do you have like a go-to style of pickup, like the P90s? That's my go-to style, and I've changed them out in so many guitars, added P90s, took away the humbuckers, and they all have pretty much the same sound, and radically different body constructions. Does it even matter? Theoretically, it would matter if they still used the microphonic unpotted pickups that I think were standard back in the 50s, before they learned that if you set the pickup coils in wax so that they can't move, then it's not microphonic, and then the wood stops mattering. At least that's the theory. Go ahead and flame me about how dumb I am for not believing in Tonewood. Anyway, so what do you think of your experiences with budget Korean guitars? To me, this is one of the best examples of something really cheap from Korea that I bet you couldn't get now this nice for $250, and made in Korea guitars are all way more expensive now. So let me know if your experience jives with what I just said. What you think about Firebirds and Thunderbirds. I got a great story. The Thunderbird from China is the only guitar I ever gave away. It was a 5-string Thunderbird. Do you have one of those? Because the 5-string Thunderbird was like the worst. I should have gotten the 4, but I really had to have the B string. But that's a long story. I'll find where it's hanging on the wall. I got a Thunderbird from China that looked real nice, but it was a wall hanger. It was a neck through though, in the fine wood, but it was unplayable. So that was an impulse buy that was that I do regret. But this is an impulse buy that I do not regret at all. And if you can find a Firebird from Korea from 12 years ago, $200, why not? All right, anyway, thanks for watching me yak at 22 minutes and 59 seconds, and enjoy your next fraction of eternity. Bye!